let's talk about MSNBC, because the leftist network owned by NBC Universal is rebranding to MS Now, an acronym that stands for My Source for News, Opinion, and the World.
It's awful. Doesn't sound like the call letters for a cable news channel. At best, it sounds like maybe like they're in menopause now. I don't know, like PMS or like some sort of lady can.
You know the saying in marketing, you can dress up a pig, but at the end, it's still a pig. That's exactly what's happening with MSNBC. Actually, MS Now. Yep, that's the new, shiny, revolutionary name NBC Universal gave its struggling news channel. Supposedly, it means my source for news, opinion, and the world. Sounds inspiring, right? Wrong. It feels like a slogan some stressed intern made at 3 a.m. over Doritos. Seriously, MS Now? What does that even mean? It doesn't sound like a serious news outlet. At best, it sounds like a low-budget sports channel, or maybe a new diet pill from a late-night infomercial. Some people online joke it sounds more like a medical diagnosis than a news channel. Like, sorry, but you've got MS Now. Not exactly trustworthy, right? And here's the funny part. MSNBC thought this rebrand would be a bold move to regain trust and viewers. What actually happened? They became a meme. People mock them non-stop, comparing the name to everything from menopause to a cheap feminist slogan. That's the opposite of a rebrand. You don't want laughter, you want respect. But instead of authority, MS Now just screams desperation.
How exciting is this new branding for the left-wing cable channel that even the parent company don't want anymore? MSNBC is now going to be called MS Now.
It sounds like they've caught a terrible disease, like right now. I'm so sorry. Oh my God, it's a diagnosis they've received. That's awful. Doesn't sound like the call letters for a cable news channel. At best, it sounds like maybe like they're in menopause now. I don't know, like PMS or like some sort of lady condition that.
And here's the truth. This isn't just a bad name. It's the full collapse of leftist corporate media. MSNBC is the latest in a long list of failing networks. Remember when 60 Minutes had to settle with Trump after their big story backfired? Or when Stephen Colbert got cut from late night TV because his ratings dropped? Same pattern. These outlets built their whole brand on hating Donald Trump. For years, they milked that anger for clicks, for praise, for approval. But now, the Trump hate machine is empty. The outrage has dried up, and with nothing fresh to show, they're falling under their own obsession. Look at the numbers. MSNBC is hitting around 1 million viewers in prime time. 1 million. That might sound like a lot if you don't follow cable news, but the reality? When Megyn Kelly was at Fox years ago, she pulled 3 million, sometimes 5 million on big nights.
It's a bloodbath over on MSNBC and CNN. MSNBC, now the numbers are out on the latest Nielsen data reported by Adweek, now averaging between April and June, okay, so that's a quarter, 1 million in the prime time for its best shows. 1 million. All right, when I was at Fox, we were doing like 3 million and change on the Kelly file. And then on the big news nights, you could add a couple of extra million to that. Like 1 million? That's what I used to get on America's Newsroom with Hemmer in 2007 at 9 a.m.
And MSNBC? They're barely keeping up with what Fox News used to get at 9 a.m. with just filler shows. Even worse, in the key demographic, the one advertisers care about, they're scraping by with under 100,000 viewers. That's almost nothing. YouTubers are getting more viewers than MSNBC's whole primetime lineup. Think about that for a moment.
But now they're getting 1 million in the prime time. Prime time. Any show on the Fox News primetime that would, even today, especially because now, you know, it's inflated under Trump at Fox, that was getting 1 million in the primetime, you get fired. The anchor would get fired. Okay, and in the key demo of 25 to 54, MSNBC is averaging under 100,000. 91,000.
And it gets even more embarrassing. During the day, their numbers drop so low, they don't even report the exact count. They just give slashies. That's TV industry code for under 50,000, basically loser territory. Imagine running a national cable news network, spending millions on production, and still getting fewer viewers than some guy ranting in his garage with a webcam. That's MSNBC right now. And yet, instead of fixing the lineup, instead of bringing in fresh talent, MSNBC keeps leaning on the same tired hosts. Rachel Maddow, Joe Scarborough, the same crew steering the ship straight into disaster for years. It's like watching the captain of the Titanic head for the iceberg and then say, "Don't worry, we have a new logo. Everything's fine. A new name won't save a sinking ship."
And it's happening right now. You need to tune in to see what Rachel Maddow is going through. I don't know how they settled on those terrible initials. Or like, is it some feminist mantra like Ms. M-S, period. Now it's all about the ladies. This is our moment. However you slice it, it's a disaster. And they still haven't solved the basic problem that they have more letters in their call name than they do viewers. And the rebrand is...
Meanwhile, other networks don't mess around when ratings drop. CBS acted on Stephen Colbert the moment his numbers fell. They didn't worry about politics. They cared about business. But MSNBC, they'd rather hold on to their ideological favorites than face reality. And the result is clear. Falling ratings, falling credibility, and a brand that's now a national joke.
Fall from year over year of 15% in the overall and 20% in the demo, which is kind of interesting. I would have thought it would have been a bigger fall given that this time last year was the lead up to the election. All right, I'm not done. Even worse is in the day on MSNBC. Total viewership plummeting 26%, an average during the day of 596,000, so under 600,000 viewers on your average MSNBC daily show, and 57,000 in the key demo. Under 50,000 is slashies. They don't even give you the number. You don't know what you got under 50,000. You just know you got slashies, which means you are a loser. That's really what that means. Double L for loser.
And here's the kicker. This isn't just about MSNBC. It's about the Democratic Party itself. Let's be real. MSNBC has always been the left's media arm. They repeat the talking points, spin the stories, and cover for Democrats when needed. But now that the network is falling apart, what does that say about the party it supports? If MSNBC can't grab the public's attention, maybe the movement it pushes is just as out of touch. And CNN, if you think MSNBC's numbers are bad, CNN is worse. Their primetime shows barely hit 500,000 viewers. 500,000. That's less than some Twitch gamers streaming for fun.
Let me do CNN. They're in last place. They're lower than MSNBC. How can you go lower? So I'm ripping on MSNBC for having 1 million averaging in the prime time. Guess what CNN's averages in the prime time? 538,000 in the...
How embarrassing is that? These are meant to be the giants of journalism, the keepers of truth, the serious networks claiming to speak for America. And yet, no one is watching. No one cares. Why? Because Americans are done being lied to. Done being gaslit, done being told that if they voted for Trump, they're evil, stupid, or a threat to democracy. That's not journalism, that's activism with a teleprompter. And it backfired. Instead of taking down Trump, these networks ended up taking down themselves.
Let's talk about MSNBC because the leftist network owned by NBC Universal is rebranding to MS Now, an acronym that stands for My Source for News, Opinion, and the World.
And here's the ultimate irony. While MSNBC and CNN flail with name changes and rebrands, Donald Trump is out on the world stage brokering peace talks. Yes, you heard that right. Trump arranged a meeting between Vladimir Putin and Vladimir Zelensky, a step toward ending the war in Ukraine. That's huge. That's historic. And it's something Biden and Kamala Harris couldn't even approach. Think about it. For years, the media painted Trump as reckless, dangerous, and unfit. They called him a dictator, a warmonger, a Russian puppet, and now he's taking steps toward diplomacy that could end a war. Meanwhile, Biden's foreign policy is falling apart. Who looks incompetent now? And that's the real test for MS Now. Will they report this fairly? Will they admit Trump's achievement? Or will they bury it like every other Trump win over the last decade? My guess, don't hold your breath. A name change won't fix bias. It won't fix corruption. It won't fix the fact that viewers know what MSNBC is. A propaganda machine. Wearing a journalism mask. At the end, this rebrand is just lipstick on a pig. The problem isn't the name. The problem is the product. Same bias, same spin, same tired talking points. And audiences notice. That's why ratings are dropping. That's why trust is gone, and no matter how many rebrands happen, it won't matter. The audience has already moved on.
In the total viewers under 540,000 people. This is CNN. It's the face like of the airport TV. It's everybody knows CNN. No one wants to buy the product. In the demo, 105,000. In the prime time, they're averaging 105,000. So on MSNBC, it's 91,000. So CNN's a little over MS in the demo, but last in the overall. That's humiliating.
And here's where it gets even bigger. What we're seeing isn't just MSNBC or CNN falling. This is the fall of woke media in general. The culture war, constant Trump hysteria, and fake outrage don't sell anymore. People are tired of it. They don't want lectures. They don't want gaslighting. They don't want smug New York anchors telling them how to think. They want truth. They want honesty. And these networks aren't giving it. So here's the bottom line. CNN and MSNBC can rebrand, reshuffle, rename, and spin all they like. But the writing is clear. Their war on Trump failed. Their obsession with woke politics drove millions away. Their credibility is gone, and viewers aren't coming back. Ratings don't lie. Americans are done with activist news. What we're watching isn't reinvention, it's extinction. Slow motion extinction on live TV. And honestly, it couldn't happen to a more fitting group. So let me ask, what do you think about MSNBC's MS Now rebrand? Do you think it will save them, or is it just more lipstick on a pig? Share your thoughts in the comments. And while you're at it, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next breakdown of the mainstream media circus. Trust me, we're